Alright, we've got the new Valorant patch notes 4.04 for Episode 4, Act 2, and this one is a banger with some map changes, 4 agent changes, and the Yoru rework. Here's a little preview so you can see them quick, and here is the details. So, starting with Omen, his dark cover, so his smoke. The cooldown was decreased from 40 seconds to 30 seconds. The cost was, however, increased from 100 to 150. The projectile speed was increased from 2800 to 6400. So his smokes are actually zooming 2.2 times faster than before. His teleport, so his shrouded step, the cost was decreased from 150 to 100. This offsets the cost increase of the smoke, so that is fantastic to see. And the pre-teleport delay was decreased from 1 second to 0.7 seconds. That is huge. That is a 30% decrease in the pre-teleport delay. These are amazing. The Paranoia now has an added forward spawn offset, so players adjacent to Omen are not hit. So this is, if your teammate Omen is running behind you and throws the blind, it's actually going to start in front of him a lot further to hopefully decrease or eliminate flashing your own team. I play with an Omen who flashes his own team, so, taking a jab there, I know how it feels. These are fantastic and long overdue buffs to our boy Omen. I am so happy to see these. I'm sure Flex Ninja is literally dancing. This is amazing. I'm so happy to see these. Next, we got changes to Brimstone. So Brimmy boy, he's got quite a lot of changes, and they're all very, very, very good ones. So let's start with his smokes. His sky smokes now deploy instead of 2 seconds in 1 second. So they deploy 2 times faster. The deploy radius was also increased from 5,000 to 5,500, so that iPad literally got an update. You can deploy them from further. That's also really nice to see. The smoke height was increased to match other controllers. I did not know Brimstone smokes were actually shorter, but they were, and now that is fixed. His stim beacon got a nice little rework. So now, the stim beacon applies a 15% speed boost in addition to the rapid fire. This is huge. So when you throw down that stim beacon, you can run across it faster. I don't know if it just means right on the spot or if it lingers like a spike rush buff. I'm not 100% sure, but either way, this is an amazing change. And while I think Brimstone's boring, so I'm not going to play him, anyone who is a Brimstone main or any professional play, it's going to be interesting to see how these changes shape and affect Brimstone gameplay. This is exciting. All right, Astra. This one I need to take a deep breath because Riot pulled out the hammer and completely bashed on Astra. She got a ton of nerfs. It is ridiculous. All right, so let's start with her stars. The max stars were reduced from 5 to 4. The cooldown on retrieving a star was increased from 14 to 25. Astra can now pick up place stars during the buys phase to refund their charge immediately, which makes sense. The max distance of star placement was increased from 10,000 to 30,000 to allow her to place stars across the furthest corners of the map. This means when she goes into astral form, she can throw the star as far as she needs to, which is good, but these are already extremely harsh nerfs, and it does not end. Starting with her suck, or the gravity well, the cooldown was increased from 25 to 45. The gravity well size was also decreased from 525 to 475, so it's also smaller. The gravity well will also no longer affect anyone underneath it. Nova Pulse, the cooldown was also increased from 25 to 45, and the Nova Pulse will also no longer affect anyone fully underneath it. Nebula, which is the smoke, the cooldown was increased from 14 to 25, and the nebula's size increased from 410 to 475, so it got a little bigger, but it's not really going to help her that much. The final changes before I give you my thoughts. Astral form. While in astral form, pings are no longer blocked by level geometry that Astra cannot see, Astra's targeting ring in astral form is reduced to 1 ring that reflects the now unified size of all her abilities or utility. Astra's targeting ring no longer randomly disappears when aiming across some map locations. Increase the speed of the overlay that covers Astra's screen when transitioning in and out of astral form. and fixed an issue where stars were placed slightly above the location Astra was targeting. So these are mainly quality of life changes. The astral form changes are positive, they're good, not a buffer nerf, I don't know, they're just good changes. The abilities, however, damn. Like, just straight up, damn, they nerfed her. I know people were complaining on Twitter, but like, honestly, it's good. They're very, very good changes. Poor Astra was already suffering in low elo, but she was so dominant in high MMR play that this was needed. As long as Riot takes a close eye to make sure they didn't over-nerf her, these are good changes. Next, we got changes to a Viper. All right, so the fuel drain is now increased by 50% when Toxic Screen and Poison Cloud are both active. That is huge. If you have both your abilities active, your fuel is just going to be emptying. That's actually, wow, an amazing nerf, I guess, if you don't like Viper. Viper's fuel bar now turns red when she does not have enough fuel to activate her abilities. This is good quality of life. Now, Toxic Screen. The cooldown after deactivating has been increased from 6 to 8. The cooldown timer now starts when her smokes start dissipating instead of when the deactivation telegraph plays. This is for both her abilities. Basically, instead of right when you click it, it counts as deactivate. It counts as deactivate when the smoke has completely cleared. Deactivation delay was increased from 1 to 0.8, so that's a good thing. It means you can deactivate it faster. Toxic Screen now has yellow lights that indicate when it's on cooldown. They also removed the delay on Toxic Screen disabling when Viper is suppressed. They also added a unique voice line that plays when her smoke is disabled by suppress. Whew, okay. So yeah, that's interesting stuff. Okay, so Poison Cloud. Cooldown after deactivating increased from 6 to 8. Cooldown timer now starts when her smoke starts dissipating instead of the telegraph play, same thing. The deactivation delay is the same, 1 to 0.8. Poison Orb now has a yellow light to indicate when it's on cooldown. Remove delay on Poison Orb disabling when Viper is suppressed. So the minute she's suppressed, those stuff are going to drop. I do wonder if that also means when she dies, there's no more delay when they drop. They didn't specify. Snake Bite's duration decreased from 6.5 to 5.5. That's pretty huge. That's instead of literally 13 seconds delaying the plant diffuse. If you're doing lineups, you're now only going to delay it by what, 11 seconds? So that's it. That's shaving 2 seconds. That's a huge nerf. Viper also got the hammer, not as much as Astra though, but these are some solid nerfs to the two strongest controllers and solid buffs to the two weakest controllers. The Yoru rework also is officially out, and here are all the numbers for us to just take in. Okay, this is gonna be a long video, but it's okay. Fake out. Charges reduced from 2 to 1. The decoy's HP is 150. So literally full plus armor health bar. Wow, okay. Decoy is now a full running version of Yoru that can only be sent running forward. Right click to place a stationary marker for the decoy, reactivate it similarly to footsteps to create the decoy that runs forward. So you can set up a trap. Fantastic. Upon taking damage from an enemy gun, the decoy winds up, turns towards the enemy that shot it, and explodes after a short delay. Enemies within the cone are flashed. We already knew this. Okay, so if it's shot once and flashes immediately, I assume the HP means if you headshot it with a Vandal, you deleted the ability. Or if you hit it with an op, you delete the ability. Does it no longer flash? Why does it have HP then? We need to test this, because that makes it so much weaker if you can just delete. What? Who's gonna miss a walking straight target? Yikes. Okay, let's wait and see what people test. Okay, gate crash. Charges increase from 1 to 2, so we got 2 teleports. The cost is 200 credits. Cooldown charge refresh removed, switched back to 2 kill reset. So I assume you have 1 teleport, you buy the second for 200. If you get 2 kills, you reset the original gate crash. Gate crash can be faked by pressing F while hovering over the beacon. Fake teleport will play audio and portal visuals as if Yoru attempted a teleport. Time it takes for teleport beacon has decreased from 1.5 to 0.5. Ooh, that's really good. Teleport beacons in-game audio while traveling reduced from 22.5 to wow, half the audio range. Wow, that's insane. Okay, hype. Teleport beacon speed has been increased from 675 to 800. Also amazing. We knew that it moved faster, but that is substantially faster. Upon activating a fake teleport, the beacon creates a small decal on the floor for 30 seconds to indicate the location of the fake teleport. We already saw this visually. Makes a ton of sense. Duration increased for Dimensional Drift, his ultimate, from 8 to 10 seconds, so we can be in the ult for 2 seconds longer. That is really good. Yoru is not revealed to enemies at all. Unequip delay time increased from 0.6 to 1.2 seconds. Wow, double. They just doubled it. That's no more shorty. We already knew that, but I didn't know it was double. That's huge. Yoru is now able to cast all utility out of his ultimate. We also knew that. Yoru's footsteps can now be heard within 15 meters of Yoru's location. Cast delay added upon casting Dimensional Drift, preventing invulnerability frame on cast. This is, people like me run out with the ultimate, and the minute we get shot, we pop it in order to survive. Now that's been stopped. It is what it is, but overall, these are very fun and exciting changes coming to Yoru, and I honestly can't wait to play them in a couple hours. Alright, so now we got map updates. Ascent. B-Orb can now be taken from the lower box. Previously, you had to double jump up to the box to get it. And, just a slight change to Ascent. But Icebox. The Icebox rework is here. B Green. Changes to B Green lane are focused on improving attacker options and making the space more comfortable to play in. Here's a before, and here's an after. That is a huge change. That's not even close. That is what we would call a rework. And it's crazy. Like, that's gonna change so much. That is a crazy change to Icebox. That's only the first one. Look at the before after here. Crazy. You can see how it's gonna change the angle. You can also see it's more pushed in. Wow. That's nuts. Actually nuts. It's slightly widened. So here's another image so you can see it better. Alright. B-site rework. First, you can see that yellow was shifted completely. Thank you. B-site is so bad. Like, it's been the bane of Icebox. Icebox is not even a terrible map, but B-site makes it a terrible map. This is way better. We got real angles, not these half weird angles, like a real angle with the additional 2 boxes there. This is great to see. We also got container changes with a little pocket underneath instead of a kind of 2 hollow tubes. You got hollow up top as well as a solid at the bottom with a pocket. This will also make angles a lot better. It's not only about holding one angle anymore. Like, it's literally, you don't even got to be radiant to know they were all hiding yellow. This is much better. Much better. Yeah, this is great. These images are so nice to see. We even got changes to the back near snow. Wow. I didn't expect this change, but this also makes sense. Instead of being hollow, after you plant, if you got a double pick, you can push with your teammates into snow and actually have cover to guard both the spawn as well as the site. This is really good and really necessary. Here's some changes from above. This is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. We even got changes to mid. So you can see here the mid changes. It is a lot wider, a lot thicker. We got thick mid. That's really good to see. We got changes beneath, and this comes with cover. So again, basically they're making Icebox less hollow. That's the whole point. It's less hollow to allow much more angles, which is actually really good because you were exposed to so many angles in Icebox when you pushed out. These are solid changes. We also got changes to the ramps. These are also very good changes. This allows ramps to be played, on the actual angle where people push to get into tubes. So this is really, really good. And we also got A-site changes. Instead of a half useless box, we got a real box. Okay. Riot's learning. That's good. We also got changes here. So you can no longer do this little weird kind of almost like headshot glitching. There's the thing with Icebox. Had a lot of weird angles that aren't present in any of the maps. Like these little tiny little peaks where you could headshot people. without a chance to be headshot back. That's removed. Very good, at least on one side. That's progress. We also got some changes here which make A entrance much wider, which is also very, very good. And that concludes the Icebox changes and a 15-minute video. I literally just talked. I just talked through all the patches, but that wraps it up. These are the patch notes, some of my thoughts. Huge patches coming in the future. Riot is delivering on their promise for Episode 4, Act 2. Later today, we will review the Gaia's Vengeance skins, if I can get this video out because it was so long. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.